people seeing that, and they'll be like, there's something going on. The other people will start seeing that, because they'll say this, and then you record it, and then the people that were judging the case will be like, wait a minute, something's wrong. You are indeed messing with this kid. Here's this and this, and other people being wicked. It's like, what's going on? And then they see that comes onto their life. In other words, they're doing it. It's a matter of fractals. People doing it to doing it to others, to doing it to others, to doing it to others, and they're all making each other sick. These negative individuals are using these negative conditioning. Again, they win through a majority of ignorance, because you got the 4 negative master squared, and the 4 neutral, and the 4 interpen squared. They're all squared. Those 3 squared create the majority of ignorance, so they keep the positive master away, so you don't grow and continue to wallow in this manure of understanding. So they're controlled to control your beliefs, and so they come up with it. So even if you try to, sometimes when you try to awaken, they'll try to come up with a plethora of new different ways to do the same thing in return, but it's always important not to mimic or be like for like they are. So many people are counting on the person you're dealing with. So you're counting on, your boss. You're counting on your doctor. You're counting on all these the teacher. To do right by you, to teach you correctly, to teach you quickly, to be efficient, and but a lot of times, many times, it's not even the case. And a lot of these people that when one country seems to be helping the other, they're doing that with ulterior motives. So what you think to be they're helping you, they're actually hurting you, and then they're doing bad things. So people get getting distracted and confused, and then they forget whatever they're doing. So because now you're focused on your objective. So instead of you remembering where you parked the car, or remembering whether you locked the car or not, while you're doing these things, they'll be distracting you, distract and disrupt. So then you'll be like, where did I park my car? Did I leave my keys in my car? And now you're getting forgetful, because you're focusing on them instead of focusing on your objective. Focus on your objective. Let them focus on their negative. They want to focus on their negative, fine, that's them. But that's not your objective. Your objective was not to go out and hurt somebody that day. Your objective was to go out and get a donut. Your objective was to go park your car, know where you parked your car, know whether you left it locked or not, and then leave to the store, know which door you went in, got this for that, and then left, and then you're backtracking, so you know the procedure goes one way in and one way out, and doing it quickly, efficiently, and minimally. And so you remember exactly where you are, what you're doing, focusing on the present, and knowing what's going on. If you get distracted too much, you can actually take notes. Okay, I'm parked in C5. I'm going through this door. I'm going to come out there. So you left your car at C5, and whatever the case may be, and you follow the procedure. And people that you could see that are being negative, try to walk around them or be away from them. But if you see them following you, then you're the objective. So you go here, and they'll be like, no, you're paranoid, but you got a camera and you see it. These people are following you. You go to aisle 5, and then go to aisle 5. So you go to aisle 6, and they go to aisle 6. So then you go back to aisle 5, and they go back to aisle 5, and still talking and running and talking and running after you, and you're the objective. So they try to claim another reason to be there, but the real reason is you. You're the objective. So maneuvering in such a way is called position, location, direction. If you know a position, location, direction, you can see exactly if they're there, if that's their negative style, and they're doing it for that particular place and being there, or if they're just making you the objective. You're the actual reason for them doing what they're doing in order to have a total objective of being negative. and then knowing what you're doing, and even as like if you're going to a door and people are rushing towards the door the same way, I wouldn't try to run before a person, but they want to do that in order. Some people just, it's an empty line. Nobody's in the line. Oh, for 2 hours, nobody's in the line. But the minute you go to the line, 8 people get ahead of you. Every time, everywhere you go. And I'm talking about, like, you can have a camera and say, I'm going in this store. And then when you go in the store, there's nobody in the line. As soon as you go up to it, people are running to the line. And then they take their sweet time, And so people get really frustrated, especially if you got things to do. So, be observant, know where you're going. Something, they may even distracting, showing like something's on sale when in reality it's not on sale. And when you go ring up the price, it's not what it said, and they'll say this or some kind of excuse. There's always an excuse for having something confusing. But again, being patient, calm, and positive. So don't get caught up in the negative emotions, but instead focus on the objectives. And in some disrupts your procedure, you can disrupt the distraction by focusing back on your procedure. Your objective is to finish the procedure and to obtain the objective. It's not to be distracted as in arguing with someone, although there may be an objective. Note that when it comes to an interaction, that your objective supersedes your procedure. So even if your objective is not fulfilled, you can choose to stay positive, regroup, plan again, and do it again at another location or somewhere else. Some may argue, well, we're not robots, and some will respond that no one had ever said that they were robots. They always use these little tricks. But that is not the argument. The argument is a way that there's a time and a place and a procedure in order to do something in such a way and time and place, not to do things in such a way that creates problems. That is not the procedure. Just like growing a plant, you take a good soil, you put a seed, you could cover up the seed a little bit and put water and then let it grow. You don't take the seed and put it in a box and throw it in a cave and expect it to grow. So that's what they're doing. They're using the non-procedure to say it's a procedure when it's actually not as a non-procedure. So you need solutions as to what the proper procedures are for. Another example I could give you is, suppose one day you're at home by yourself and someone knocks at the door. So you go to the door and you open the door and see who's there. And you begin to have a discussion because there is some space between you and the open door and the person outside. So they're using that as a pretext. The real reason they're there is for the negative, to frustrate you, anger you. So if you're not there to open the door, or instead of opening the door, you have one of those windows that open. Their objective was probably to put their foot in the door, but if you open a little window, they can't do that. Of course, they can put their hand to try to, depending how bigger the window is, or you can have just a recorder and a camera that have them talk to the monitor, as opposed to them talking to you directly in order to fulfill their negative objective to hurt you either mentally or physically, or in some way stop, block, or interrupt, disrupt, and distract you with problems and objectives that's nothing to do with you. So even if you didn't speak or didn't do anything, they would just come and fill out their, do their objective. But in the end, it'll show that it was all them. They had planned it, they had done it, they had finished it, and it was all them. You had nothing to do, as much as they say that you provoked it or you were there and wrong, when you did nothing, absolutely zero wrong. So supposedly somebody bursts in your house, you let them in, and they tell you, oh, I'm a lawyer. Whether it's true or not, that's not the point. The fact is that this stranger came into your house without having been invited, and they just push you aside, like they own the place. Obviously, that person just walked into your house, and the procedure could have been, to walk in your house or somebody's house without having been invited. Again, it's only a problem to you unless it's done to them. Then it's a problem. So you see, they're hypocrites. So there needs to be some way of because when you call the police, they're going to lie and they're going to say, well, both of you guys, it's a he said, she said kind of thing. But if you record it, or at least you know it's your property and that person shouldn't be there anyway. But by that time, they already did the damage. They pushed you aside, they walked to your house, they act like they own the place. So then the next time, you'll be like, no, nobody's good. I'm not even opening the door for this person. I'm going to set a microphone system or a little window, a little keyhole, or somewhere where we can communicate without me opening the door. So some may argue with this individual. So some people will stand there and start punching his face and beating this guy down. Nah, the best thing to do, to be honest, if somebody runs in your house, if you open the door, somebody pushes you and runs into your house, run outside the house and call the police and say, somebody just pushed me and ran inside my house. And then the police will come and say, what you doing inside his house? Oh, he invited me. And you tell him, I didn't invite him. What is he doing in his house? If rather than you beat the crap out of him, because most likely some people just beat the living crap, you really try to refrain from hurting or killing this guy from ignorance. Even though most people say, well, this guy just deserves it. But you want to at least show everyone that, hey, I gave this guy a chance and I'm doing right by him. And all these energies are being sown and they're being reaped. The negative structure, the highest echelons of evil, knows how to work the structure. They know if they went too far. If they went too far, they're like, oh, well, we've got to compensate this kid. We've got to do right by him. Try to stay away from him. But if you're being agitated and ignorant, they'll be like, well, they know what master you serve, and technically you're not protected because you're dead by your own hand. But if you're doing right and your procedures are right, then because they don't kill people willy-nilly. If they was killing people willy-nilly, everybody be dead. But they know that there's a punishment. If you keep doing things incorrectly, people are going to be like, these people are mad. At some point, somebody's got to stop a rabid dog. And they know in order to control the many, you got to use good and bad. It's never always evil. If it was always evil and evil negative and they go out looking like a ravaged dog, they're going to get put down like a ravaged dog. But they're playing the Luciferian game of good and evil. Slap you one day, bring you a gift the next day, beat you down the next day, 2 days later give you a gift, and meanwhile, like, life's not too bad, or he's not really bad, but they're using the slap and flower system or the give and beat system. So leaving you, again, more confused as to where is really the problem. The guy's the problem. Stay consistently. Bring flowers, kind words, strong actions, confident, building. And not deception. So these are the very same negative individuals who justify their negatives, but also use this reasoning, use this logic, their actions, as in rape and abuse. And then next time you have someone, someone does the same thing, you'll know, hey, this is what I'm going to do. Something that can put them and stop them from doing the negative without having to be negative yourself. And usually they've never thought of it. But in the end, they'll be like, this guy could have killed me, but he didn't. And he actually helped me to learn that, hey, this is wrong. What you're doing is wrong. And learn the system now, because the next time, the next guy won't be nice like me. The next guy is going to be a killer that'll be more than happy to slit your throat because you're over there trying to do the same to him. And then you're going to get it because this is exactly what you sown. So this is what really you was looking for. You don't go around slapping people all the time and say, it's so fun slapping people. Eventually you're going to come to the kid that's going to be like, I'm going to slap this guy, not because I hate him. I'm going to slap him for everything it's worth, for him to learn that, hey, this is not good. So God would sometimes bless that hand and slap the living daylights out of you. So you would see the stars and say, oh man, I see the light. Because that slap was bad, but it was done out of good motives to teach you, hey man, you're hurting people, stop it. It's not the way to go. Eventually people are going to awaken, and now you're going to become the brunt. But if you want to continue to be in a position where you can help people, then help people. Don't double cross them and be two-faced, because people are going to know that, and that's the history you're going to leave behind. And that's what that history leave behind is when the point of truth, when you hit the brick. Meaning Shaitan. When you hit Shaitan, he'll be like, ha, you made it to my world. Now I'm taking from you. And he was put in that position. It goes deeper, but again, follow the bouncing ball, and we continue the lessons. And by the time you finish, you had claimed mastery, and hopefully you'll be able to teach as well. So you will know in advance that you could choose how to talk, what to do through individuals. With the guy who ran through the door, maybe you'll talk through the peephole or whatever, intercom system, like I said, a second screen or a chain that's connected to the door in some way. Whatever the positive solution that you had made. So these extreme solutions, or these positive solutions, because negative individuals like to condition more problems. So sometimes you may find a solution, but they may create another problem. But then again, if you know the solution already, by the time they do the problem, it's done. It just shows that they've done a problem because the solution already had boomeranged the problem back onto them. So you will do and behave in a logical, as opposed to believing and understanding in an erratic, paranoid fashion. And procedures are where most of the problems hide. In this current state we're in, I call this the state we're in, the Antichrist, or the anti-you system, because it never works in such a way that helps you to excel, even though sometimes you do so regardless of the odds. So procedures are where most problems hide in this particular time, and because that's what it's all about. Almost everything is a procedure. So actually, you can say everything in a structure. So in the first place, you go if there's a problem, don't excel it, but come to a point where you just speak the truth and see that it was incorrectly done, and come out of that negative existence.